So the Dow and other stock market benchmarks keep reaching new highs. To meet your retirement goals, you have to make sure that you have the right mix of stocks and bonds, though. Financial experts suggest rebalancing your 401k and your IRA portfolios at least once a year. You probably just set it and forget it, right? You're not supposed to do that. Joining me now is CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger with more on how you can properly invest in your financial future. Set it and forget it.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of people do. So you wrote a book called The Dumb Things Smart People Do with Their Money, and you have an entire chapter devoted to how much basically we are our biggest risk factor.
Yeah, it's really tough because what we do is we let our emotions guide us. And I get it. You know what? You're a human being. You've got emotions. The question is, how can you make sure that you feel the emotion, but you don't act on it? And rebalancing is one of those things that can kind of help in the process. And here's why. I know everybody's heard buy low, sell high.
Yeah.
Easier said than done, right? Rebalancing almost guarantees that you will do that. And here is how it works. Essentially, let's say you've got a portfolio. It's 50% in stock funds and 50% in bond funds. Now, because last year the market went crazy and went up, it's fantastic. Now, all of a sudden, your stock position is 65%, and maybe your bonds are only 35%. So what rebalancing does is it takes the money out of that winning position and moves it over to the asset that hasn't done as well. It rebalances so you get back into balance of your 50-50 portfolio. Guess what else you've done in that moment? You've sold something that's gone up in value. You've bought something that hasn't gone up as much or gone down.
Right.
You've forced yourself to sell high and to buy low.
Oh, that makes so much sense. You know, you pointed out that people watch the stock market all the time, and I know I'm kind of guilty of that as well. Not to rebalance, but you know, if the stock market looks good, I might just check the 401k so I can feel good about myself, and then if it looks bad, I try to avoid it. But why is sort of watching the timing of the stock market just not worth it?
Well, I think it's okay as information, right? You'll hear people like me will go on the TV or radio and say, hey, the stock market index is all new highs.
Yeah.
It's just a moment in time. It's a milestone. That said, most of us are long-term investors, right? And so over the course of the long term that you are investing, what's going to happen is there are going to be some highs and there's going to be some not so great moments, right? So if you go back to 2008 and 2009, if you were really freaked out and watching the market every single day, maybe you felt like I can't stand it anymore and you just sell everything and you go to cash. And then you say to yourself, I'll just get back in when things settle down, right? How do you know when to get back in?
Yeah.
When are things really going to settle down? What rebalancing does, it actually makes you feel less like you have to do something because you know that either once a year, maybe it's twice or 4 times a year, that it will happen automatically. Here's the great news. Most big financial companies, most banks, they have a little button in your 401k, in your IRA.
I was going to ask you about this, yeah.
Click rebalance. How often? 1, 2, 4. Don't do it more than 4 times a year. Really, it's 1, 2, or 4 times a year. And it will happen automatically. You know what else this is great for? If you work for a company and they match your retirement contribution in the company's stock, this is a great way for you to make sure that the stock doesn't pile up and get a little bit bigger than maybe you'd want. So not that you don't love CBS.
Of course.
Because we all love our employer.
I'm an investor.
But it's not a great thing when that money starts piling up in that single stock. It may not be consistent with your portfolio. So again, if you set the rebalance and it says, hey, only have up to maybe 5% in my company stock, it will automatically do that. It will force you to do the thing you don't want to do.
All right. That is great advice, Jill. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.